Wow guys, so this is going to be a really good one because I have just uncovered some absolutely earth-shattering information that, if correct, could end up being one of the secret announcements that Elon has in store for us. And in fact, it might be unveiled as soon as September 22nd on Battery Day. And yet nobody is really talking about this, which absolutely shocked me because this could be an absolute game changer. So you're not going to want to miss this because this could have massive implications on Tesla stock going forward, and it might actually be one of the biggest reasons why Tesla decided to raise an additional $5 billion in capital, but more on that later. So with that being said, I am beyond excited to share this information with you guys, and I'd appreciate an early thumbs up as these videos do take a really long time to make. But let's not waste any more time and let's get right into it. So first, let's get the elephant out of the room right away. So as I'm sure many of you have already heard by now, from all indications, it seems that the S&P 500 committee has chosen not to add Tesla into the index, at least not in this quarter, which is just absolutely ridiculous. But I'll save my rant for another day.
Next time, baby.
All I'm gonna say about that situation for now is that eventually Tesla will be in fact added to the index. Now whether that be next week, next quarter, or next year, it doesn't matter. But there is no way that the 8th largest US company by market cap, who is single-handedly revolutionizing the entire automotive industry, and a company that, even though they were forced to shut down their factory for over 8 weeks, somehow still managed to post a GAAP profit, while the rest of the automotive industry suffered over $10 billion in combined losses during that same time span. So guys, don't worry because eventually they will without a doubt be included in the index. Mark my words. And also, let's not forget that absolutely nothing has changed fundamentally about the business in any shape or form. So relax. And in fact, you should be capitalizing on this recent dip, because in just a couple of years, Tesla's current stock price is going to be laughable. And ARK Invest knows this better than most, because during the recent dip, they have absolutely been taking advantage of the situation and loading up on even more shares of Tesla. So bam, what just happened? Well, Tesla out of nowhere recently announced that they have decided to raise $5 billion in capital, which left most analysts and investors worldwide shocked, because it didn't really seem like they needed the capital to begin with. Yet here we are today, and they now have roughly $14 billion at their disposal. So as you already know, if you've been watching my channel, there's no such thing as coincidences in the world of Elon Musk. So now the million-dollar question becomes, what are they planning on doing with the money, and why now all of a sudden? So I've watched many videos from some of my favorite YouTubers who are absolutely incredible at what they do, but I haven't quite seen anyone give a conclusive reason for the capital raise. But after doing extensive research, I have a theory. But first we need to put just a few things into perspective. So what do we know is coming up right around the corner? Well, how about the fact that we are just 9 days away from one of the biggest and most anticipated days in Tesla's history, and Elon is not shying away from the moment. In fact, just earlier today, he continues to add even more flames to the fire. So there is absolutely no way that Elon would continue to build up expectations so very high unless he absolutely knew for certain that he could deliver, and that Tesla had some truly groundbreaking blockbuster surprises ready to be unveiled. Well, what do we know for certain? Well, for one, they will obviously be announcing some massive innovations on the battery packs themselves, most likely being their 1 million mile battery and their dry battery electrode process that will allow them to build far more batteries significantly faster and cheaper, which will ultimately lead to them finally achieving one of their biggest breakthroughs, which would be getting the cost per kilowatt hour of a battery to under $100 or less. This is significant because this would mark the first moment in history when EVs become in fact cheaper than internal combustion engine cars. And as Cathie Wood has pointed out, if you thought Tesla was growing fast now, just wait till this happens, because this is when the real exponential growth for Tesla will take place. Not to mention that they will also likely be unveiling their much anticipated Plaid powered Model S race car But let's stay focused on the batteries for now, and why I believe that this newfound innovation will go hand in hand with yet another secret announcement that Elon Musk will be making this year, and quite possibly even on Battery Day itself.
What's so interesting about that is that we actually think that a ride-hailing network with human drivers could be a very profitable business for Tesla.
That was Tasha Keeney from the legendary ARK Invest, where she goes on to lay out a multitude of the benefits and competitive advantages that Tesla would have from launching a ride-hailing network ahead of reaching full autonomy. So this network would have human drivers and basically allow Tesla to learn the ins and outs of the ride-hailing industry and act almost as a precursor to the inevitable moment when they master level 5 autonomy and robo-taxis are unleashed. But now here's where things get really interesting. Because you see, management would not have done a sudden capital raise unless they knew that they could utilize the capital to accelerate growth even faster. And this is why I believe that they will use this rare opportunity when both Uber and Lyft are struggling massively to put the final nails in the coffin. Now this may sound preposterous to some of you, but hear me out first, because there are two very important angles to this. So first, obviously, in order to make this happen, they need drivers, but not just any drivers, specifically drivers who have Tesla cars. So what you have to understand is that the majority of taxi drivers actually lease their cars. They don't actually own them. Now, why is this important? Well, you see, Tesla has always been cautious about leasing its vehicles, and in fact, for most of their existence, they had to limit the number of cars that they even allow to be leased in the first place. This is in stark contrast to most automakers who on average at least 32% of their new cars are leased. And keep in mind that they do this because leasing is extremely profitable in general, because people end up paying more money for the cars over the long term. But it's also a double-edged sword in a sense for automakers, because when a customer leases a car, you take significantly less money up front. But also, and even more importantly for Tesla's sake, accounting regulations only allow you to recognize revenue on leases as you receive the money, little by little and over several years, which is vastly different than selling a car and being able to recognize all of the revenue right away on the day of the sale. And obviously, for a company that has frequently needed to raise cash to develop cars, batteries, and not to mention to build expensive gigafactories, they've always needed to be able to demonstrate to creditors and to investors that revenues were growing as quickly as possible and losses as small as possible. So even though leases are far more profitable over the long term, it simply wasn't feasible for Tesla to ramp up availability for leases. But now that they are finally in a position of power, I believe that they will be using some of this capital for a multitude of reasons, including ramping up leasing programs in a major way and continuing to expand Tesla Insurance, along with now being able to offer discounts and incentives to sway Uber and Lyft drivers to the soon-to-be unveiled Tesla ride-hailing service. Which brings me to my second point, which is Tesla will be able to offer a plethora of benefits that their competitors just simply won't be able to match, such as favorable leasing rates, highly discounted insurance rates, free access to supercharger stations. And not to mention that for drivers who might be fearful of losing their livelihoods due to robo-taxis, they could also implement a program where after a certain period of time, they would be able to not only own the car, but also get a free upgrade to full self-driving, so that instead of them being out of a job in the future, they would in fact be awarded with a passive income generating machine that would do the job for them while they sit back and collect a check. With potential incentives like this, it would be an absolute no-brainer for tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of eager Uber and Lyft drivers to make the switch. And in doing so, they would ironically be fueling and accelerating even faster the inevitable readiness of level 5 autonomy. Because just imagine the millions of additional miles and data that Tesla would get by introducing a multitude of real-world scenarios from hundreds of thousands of potentially new drivers who will be driving daily 5 to 10x the amount of hours of an average person. Not to mention that a ride-hailing service of this magnitude would potentially introduce millions of new customers who might have never even had a chance before to now actually be able to be inside of and experience a Tesla car for the first time ever. So guys, this will be an absolute game changer on so many levels. And as I have already outlined in a previous video, Tesla mastering level 5 autonomy will lead to them having a market cap of over $1 trillion easily. So buckle up, because I believe that there is a very, very high chance of this being unveiled this year, and perhaps maybe even as soon as on Battery Day itself. Also, real quick, I just want to say, wow, you guys are absolutely incredible, as we've now had over 1,500 of you beautiful people sign up for our Patreon and Discord after we opened it up just a few days ago. Now, for those of you who might have missed the announcement, this is your last opportunity because there's only a limited amount of spots left, and signups will be literally completely closed for the rest of the month after just 24 hours of this video being posted. And just to recap, membership not only helps support the channel, but also includes exclusive benefits like access to our private Discord channel, exclusive content, plus you'll have 24/7 access to my entire stock portfolio. And on top of that, you'll also get access to my buy or sell signals, meaning you'll know every single stock I decide to buy right when I buy it, and you know exactly when I decide to sell my position. Now, if this is something that would interest you, or you're just curious and you want to know more information, simply click the link below, and I made a quick 3-minute video for you and posted it on my Patreon page that explains in depth not only the benefits of becoming a Patreon member, but also what our community is all about and what we want to accomplish with this platform. So I can't wait to work with you one-on-one, and I can't wait to grow this community to become one of the most impactful communities ever. And with that being said, I'll see you on the other side. Thank you. Now, if you found any value in this video at all, and I hope you did, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on that notifications bell. Also, I love talking to you guys, and I always try my very best to reply to every single comment. So let me know your thoughts on Tesla, and let me know what stocks or topics you want me to talk about next in the comment section below. But with that being said, especially if you made it to this point in the video, I have so much love for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have an absolutely amazing rest of your day. Peace.